And Doreen, would you bring us some good news?
New hat for me today. Thank you, John. Here we are. Let us bow our heads together. Here we are, elements in a combined presence, acknowledging our power to rise above weekday concerns and spend this time together in the company of our higher thoughts. We present ourselves to uplifting encouragement and deeper understanding. We open ourselves to a broader perspective of our place in all that is. We are blessed in our stretch for new meanings in the old familiar words. So be it. Amen. The Gospel of John, chapter 14. But I'll give you a little context first. John called himself the favorite of the disciples. Not that Jesus said so, but he had that opinion of himself and mentioned it a half a dozen times in his book. I think he might have felt like Jesus' favor because he got Jesus. John was something of a mystic and a poet. The parables were right up his alley. In fact, he started his book with, "In the beginning was the Word." So I asked myself, what is a word? A word is a spoken idea. The beginning of John's book, with that substitution, would read like this. The spoken idea was in the beginning, and that very spoken idea was with God, and God was that spoken idea. The same idea was in the beginning with God. Everything that came to be by that spoken word. And without idea, not even one thing that was created came to be. The life was in idea. The spoken idea is the light of men. Ideas, creativity, inspiration is the life and light of humankind. Let there be light. Let there be indoor plumbing. Let there be personal transportation at 60 miles an hour or 600 miles an hour. Let there be instantaneous worldwide communication. Let there be human footprints on the moon. So let's look into the 14th chapter of John from this perspective. John, the poet, talking about his last conversation Jesus had with his closest friends before the events that he saw coming that led to his resurrection. Let not your hearts be troubled. Don't worry, he said. Be assured. In fact, in the larger picture, be happy that I am moving on. I've done and I'm doing what's mine to do, and it's going to have this big dramatic conclusion, and I'm telling you now so that when it happens, you will remember that you heard this in advance. So it all happened just as he said. Gethsemane, I surrender. Not my will, but thine. Calvary, it is finished. And the resurrection, because I live, you also shall live. This great idea, planted in these human minds that were to become the nominal, basic thought of Western civilization. Now, John wrote this all in hindsight. He had Jesus saying, you believe in God, believe also in what I tell you. You know my spirit, you've heard my teachings, you've seen the works. We're in this together. God and I, and I'm telling you, you are a part of that too. I live, you live. There are many rooms, and I'm telling you with all the confidence I have, that your life goes on and on. So now we know. We don't need to worry. And here's why. We are believers. We believe that God is and that we are one. We're in good hands. The souls that we are go on and on, having our adventures in time and space. We have time to try this reaction and that behavior and draw our conclusions about what works and what doesn't work, and wear all the hats in every situation over time. And we have all of eternity to experiment. Many rooms, Jesus said. You know the way, he said. We all know the way through all of this, all the way to our own departure. We leave this room, we call it dying, and it's the most natural thing on earth. We know, and we don't worry. In the meantime, we're all together in this. This here and now is our room. We know each other, probably always have. We help each other along by our very association, providing each other with opportunities to test our theories and choose what we're going to be in light of the changing circumstances, just walking each other home. 3 characters are mentioned specifically in this chapter: Thomas, Philip, and young Judas, son of another disciple, James, who might have been Jesus' half-brother, older brother. We don't know. There are several James. But in the scheme of things, this could have been Jesus' nephew. In Charles Fillmore's idea, each of the disciples is an aspect of our own personality. We are all these characters at one time or another, many rooms. So sometimes we're the Thomases, bless our hearts, the doubter. He missed Jesus' first appearance in the upper room when all the disciples had gathered after Mary found the open tomb, empty tomb. And Thomas at that time said, I won't believe he lives until I see his hands and touch his wounds. But in this chapter, he cries, we don't know where you're going. How do we know the way? Thomas is frustrated, maybe a little scared, or just bogged down in the tension of the circumstances. When we are wearing our Thomas hat, it's not clear to us what to do next. How can we know the way? Dear Thomas. Spirit replies, whoa, Thomas, take it easy, get a grip. Take a breath and step back. All that drama can be entertaining and consuming, but in your heart you know it passes. But you can weather it, changed maybe, wiser, but don't panic. Don't worry. Worry gets in the way of creative thought. Then Philip comes to us. Philip came to the realization early. He recommended Jesus to his friend Nathaniel. He was looking for enlightenment. And he said, we have found the one Moses wrote about in the law and about whom the prophets wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. Philip is the part of us that has found the answer. Philip believes in chapter 14. Philip believes and says, Lord, show me the way. Give me a glimpse of glory, and I'll be satisfied. Glimpse of glory. Wow, what an image. Inspiration. You know, that rush of being outside yourself, fully confident that all is well. And then you hear it. Remember who you are. You are an explorer, an adventurer. You can't do it wrong, even if you only decide you can do it better next time this situation comes around, and it might. You are ongoing, even beyond the births and deaths as they come around, like days of the week or seasons of the year. You know the way. You are the way. And in fact, There is no other way. Go for it. Go for it. We folk, you and I, have come from all over to be here together to breathe this Gulf Coast air, to recognize together that our power lies in our ideas, our ability to choose our responses to events, to ask for what we want in light of our recognition that really, it's all good. There's only one presence doing its thing by us and through us. Remember, you and I are God stuff developing, and we know that. We're enthusiastic about life. There are times when intuition speaks to us, synchronicity catches our attention, serendipity makes us marvel. Call it God being anonymous. Call it amazing grace. Call it dumb luck. When we are looking for gracefulness around us, there it is. You're in it. What you need is right there. You live in there and nothing is impossible in that mindset. No worries. You believe in God? Believe this too. God operates in our lives. So then here comes the young blood, Judas, the why guy. He says, why has this come to us? What is happening that you're showing some of us and not everybody in a big glamorous return? And the answer to that seems to be that because we're ready. We're looking for it, and here we are. We've stuck it out through time, we've seen the miracles, we've learned the lessons. It's the law of attraction, you know? You get what you're willing to believe. What doesn't ring true, you dismiss. We're not here by accident. We're not caught up in worldly goings-on to the exclusion of higher thinking. We have taken the balcony view. We've come to the understanding that it's all in divine order, and we are believers. Not everybody sees what we see yet. Some struggle. We ourselves have struggled, but the teachers have come. Each of us is on our own exploratory path. Everybody finds his own way. You and I are examples of our current choices. Each one of us has chosen according to our best understanding, and that grows with experience and review. In all that is, there's everything. Whatever it is, we deal with it all in the light of what we know, which is ever expanding. We can be at peace with it all. We're good. Observe and be amazed how it all folds together. Be our best self in it. Do what we're led to do in the light of our understanding that it is all on purpose. God uses it all. We're in good hands, all of us, to some purpose larger than ourselves. The way I see it, DNA, this double helix, is just a sieve, and we flow through. We're not caught. Many rooms. We have God's own reason and patience and humor, Holy Spirit, to see us through. We are polished by our experiences, and when we are sifted again next time in another room, we start from a different place with a different agenda, but with the same innate understanding that life is full of adventure. We are in the world, but not caught by it. Know ye not that ye are God's very own? So be happy. Let's be happy together in the quiet. Sit back, take a deep breath, step back, relax. Let the trouble bubble just float away. We are at peace with life, receptive. We understand. In our meditation, let's be reminded of all the contrasting things our lives have to offer. Notice the balance. The sun and the rain. The idea of sunscreen and umbrellas. The energy of get her done and the wisdom of review. The balance between the challenge of competition and the comfort of cooperation. We play our part from the understanding that each of us is essential to the balance of it all. We do what is ours to do, easily, with patience, and with the understanding that there is time enough to do it all. We live every aspect. Monday's child is fair of face. Tuesday's child is full of grace. Wednesday's child is full of woe. Thursday's child has far to go. Friday's child is loving and giving. Saturday's child works hard for a living. But the child who is born on the Sabbath day is lucky, and happy, and good, and gay. We teach that all things work together for good to those fulfilling their promise. And we are all fulfilling our promise. Good surrounds us. Peace prevails. We play in time as in God's backyard, Time passes and takes all things with it. Supper time comes, and we are called to the table. We are nourished. We are content. We rest. All is well. Yes. Bring that yes back with you to this room, to this day, to every day. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Take courage. Peace is yours.
Amen.